Hey, welcome back to You Like That Podcast, everyone. Join with me. My name is Adam. I am one half of You Like That Podcast.
That was absolutely seamless. My name is Jack. I am the other half of the You Like That podcast.
The awkward intro there because I realized over Zoom claps they don't pick up with the mic properly.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
I think it's just a sound filter thing, and obviously it's probably best to stay like that so anything else outside of my voice does not get recognized.
The birds.
Uh, i.e. the birds. However, recording this late at night means they're already asleep and in bed, so we're
There
all
you
good
go.
to go.
Oh,
This week, big movie, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
it's still like the trauma of the pandemic is still so ingrained because every time like a big movie like this comes out, it's still like a bit of a novelty.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my God, it's actually coming out and not just being dumped on streaming or whatever.
yeah, exactly right. It's like, no, it's in cinemas. You can see it at the movie theater,
Yeah.
and that is where we have witnessed this movie. But before jumping in, Jack, how have you been? How have you been? Tell the world, how have you been this week?
Yeah, fine. Pretty uneventful. I watched the movie Smile, which is
Ah,
really dividing people. Um, I'll do a very quick fire review. It's extremely derivative and unoriginal. Like it's basically a budget It Follows,
yeah.
but it's really fucking good and like really effectively creepy. And there's some really like if you have nightmares about looking like if you sleep with your bedroom door open and you have nightmares about seeing like a figure standing in your doorway,
Yeah,
mate, that the movie's gonna scare the shit out of you.
yeah.
Um,
So,
I
I,
really liked it.
I saw so much about it, and I was just like,
Yeah,
it's not getting as like ripped apart as I expected
yeah,
it to be at the start. I was
and it's crazy.
like it's actually holding up.
Yeah, as soon as the ending is introduced, like you don't know it when it's introduced that it's gonna be the ending. But
Yeah,
as soon as it's introduced, you're like, I bet you that's the ending. And it is. It's
yeah,
100. Like, it's so predictable and like unoriginal, but I really liked it. I think it's great.
yeah. I'm keen to watch it. The ending did get spoiled for
Yeah,
me
yeah.
because TikTok is a thing, and no
Of
one is
course.
safe on TikTok.
No.
But at that point, it was only not that long ago, so I'm like, well, the movie's been out for quite a while now, so it's only
Yeah.
fair that I did
Um,
cop that one.
yeah. Jessica and I watched When Harry Met Sally, which is one of those classic movies I've never seen.
Yeah, no, I can't say I've seen it myself either.
Extremely good, but like The Simpsons have done every joke from it like six times. So, and then last night or the night before, whenever I sent it to you, I started watching the infamous, the ever talked about for the last 4 years, Black Adam.
Yep.
I think it was 23 minutes in, and it's in the trailer when he's like breaking out of the rock cave and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like it's shot like the movie Iron Man, and then like Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones starts playing. So it's like cool rock star anti-hero guy. And I was like, I'm gonna go do my grocery shopping. I'm just not gonna watch this. Like I'm
It's
sorry.
completely fair.
I'm just not gonna watch Black Adam. I saw the Superman bit at the end.
Yeah, but we all saw that 2 days after the initial release of Black Adam anyway, because The Rock was like, I can't believe Superman's back. We finally got it done, and it's just like, bro,
Because he
the
knew,
movie just came out, cunt.
he knew he needed to get bums in seats.
Yeah, and what better way to say, hey,
Yeah.
Henry Cavill, he's back.
but
Yeah.
otherwise, I've just been at work. What about you, my dear friend?
Yeah, no, same. Work, gigs, fucking everywhere. You and
Oh
me
yeah, you
both
and I hung
saw.
out in real life
Yeah, because we do that. We are friends, and we do hang
sometimes.
out outside of the podcast realm. We did get to grace ourselves to see our boys Justice for the Damned headline in
Yes,
Wollongong,
we certainly
supported
did.
by Kublai Khan, which was
Yes,
chef's kiss. And
so good.
then last weekend I got to see Enter Shikari with my dear wife. We had a lovely day out in Sydney from it, and Enter Shikari, man, like they somehow constantly just get better and better with their live shows,
Yeah,
and they still, even though their music catalog has progressed so much musically throughout the years, they still go back and play all like a majority of the old stuff still.
yeah. That set list, like I would have recognized most of the songs, and that says a
Yeah,
lot. Because yeah,
yeah. And like this is coming off the back of 2 albums since they've been over here.
Yeah.
And they still played the songs off those albums, but still loaded us up with the older tracks where everyone was like, yes. But because of how they sound now and everything they've got in their live show, it just sounds so much crisper.
Yeah.
And it just hits so much harder. And just the way that the energy and everything is just ridiculous. You know, you would have saw my video of Rao up on the edge of the fucking roundhouse.
Yeah, they still play like punks.
The whole thing.
Like they still jump around and like
Rory and Chris got in the crowd as per usual. They got in the pit, sat on some shoulders and played. I think it was Sorry Not to Win. I can't remember. It was one of the older ones, and they just belted in the pit. I was like, yes, the guys.
So good. Also, I bought a new webcam. That's why I look a bit better.
Yes. You are looking much
clearer. I mean, my video quality looks better. I don't look much better, but
you are the pinnacle of men's beauty.
Okay.
Yeah, but outside of that, I completely watched all of House of the Dragon.
Oh, okay.
Just fully getting into the shows and shit again.
I've heard it's like unbelievably good.
It was incredible, and it says a lot if I binged 5 episodes in one day.
Yeah.
Like I came home from work and went, sweet, Dragon. I was on episode 6, and then by the end of the night, the finale was done. I was like, whoa.
All right.
It's a great show. Hell of a lot of time jumps. Because I went into this completely blind and not knowing a lot about the show. The first 5 episodes is one set of actors, and then the last 5 episodes are a different set of actors.
Oh, okay.
I like the same character.
Yeah.
So there's a decent time gap between them, but it's really cool that it's an exact split half season.
Yeah, right.
Per the actors, but it's just a really good show, and it's just I'm now going to go and completely go back and watch Game of Thrones again because I stopped after season 2, and I'm just like, no, fuck it, I want this medieval shit back inside me. Just give it all to me. But yeah, other than that, I've just been hanging to get to this new movie for this week. And I think that's what we should now jump in and talk about.
Yeah, I don't even remember when I saw it. When did I see it? Monday?
You saw it.
It's been a while.
Yeah, you saw it a little bit. Fuck, I think maybe even last week.
Yeah, it might have been last week. It might have been Thursday last week.
It might have been, but anyway, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. The follow-up to the infamous Black Panther movie. This one, again, helmed and directed by Ryan Coogler, with a whopping runtime of 161 minutes.
It's a big one.
It's a big one with a budget of $250 million. It's that standard Marvel Disney budget for a
Kevin
film.
Feige just thrown it away.
At the time of recording, the box has raked in $400 million, with a Rotten Tomatoes score, which is divided pretty well. 84% with the critics and 95% with the audience.
That surprises me. Okay.
Yeah. It's about 10,000 plus audience scores.
Yeah, right.
And couple hundred critic ones.
Yeah.
The cast is pretty much everyone that you recognize from the original, bar the late Chadwick Boseman. R.I.P. to the man, because obviously a big factor into this sequel and next entry into the MCU. But we'll get into all of that in due course. Jack, hit us with your initial thoughts of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
I feel similarly about it that I felt about Shang-Chi, whereas I liked a lot about it. There's a couple of things I loved about it.
Yeah,
but it hit a certain point in this very long run time where it just completely loses you. Mm-hmm. And I've read elsewhere that other people have had this experience, but there's just a very certain point where it just loses you, and I ended up not liking it very much overall.
Yep.
But we'll get into the stuff I did like, because
of course,
it's like the stuff I do like is overwhelmingly positive. But I just, there's a lot wrong with it, and a lot of it wasn't their fault, and it got pandemicked, and this movie fucking was a nightmare to make. This
is a massive list of factors into this movie.
What did you think?
My initial thoughts. So I've just come out from seeing it tonight. So straight from the cinemas, a little bit of dinner, and then straight here to record. So it's still fresh in my mind. Everything is still fresh. I have a lot of time to think about it. I think this was a fantastic movie, but I have a lot of issues with it.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's like I enjoyed this movie.
I enjoyed it too. Yeah.
There's so much to like about this movie, and it's going to be one that I'm going to remember.
Yeah.
But I can't not miss out on the facts of what is wrong with this movie as well. We can't dance around it, and we're not going to completely slam this movie, but this is the You Like That podcast, and it's to be expected from us too that no movie is safe.
It has one of the best first 40 minutes of a Marvel movie in a long time, I reckon.
Yeah.
This movie comes out of the gate so hard, and it's so good at the start.
Yeah. So obviously this review is going to be very, very spoiler filled. So bear in mind, if you have not seen Black Panther yet, you might want to avoid this review until you have gone and seen it. With MCU, we kind of just can't hold back. We need to.
I think people get that by now. Yeah.
Yeah, but just so you can't complain and be like, "Please, spoiler warning." None of that. There's your spoiler warning. You've got it. We're jumping in. So let's just start off with the fact that this movie was supposed to be something completely different. Obviously, of what happened with Chadwick Boseman and his fight with colon cancer, that he hid from the world, he hid from everyone in Marvel and Disney. This movie was supposed to be a direct sequel to Black Panther that involved Chadwick Boseman for this sequel and then another one on top of.
Yeah.
But then, of course, his passing and losing his fight with the cancer obviously turned everything upside down for Disney and Marvel.
Yeah.
And what to do with this movie.
Yeah. Apparently, Ryan Coogler spoke to Chadwick on the phone and didn't really suspect anything.
No,
and he was like,
blindsided.
He was like, "Hey, do you want to start talking about the script?" And Chadwick was like, "Oh, like." I don't remember the exact quote, but it was honestly something like, "Oh, I'm a bit busy. I'll get back to you," or something like that. And that was the last time Ryan ever spoke to him. And it's just like, that's how ignorant was, like nobody knew.
Yeah.
And that's wrapped into this new script. Like a big theme of it is grief and being angry that someone hid something like that from you.
Yeah. There's a lot of that betrayal in this movie, and
which I felt a bit weird about, but
the movie's got a lot of these themes, but obviously this movie was always supposed to be something completely different from the start, and what that could have been, we will never know. We will never know what Ryan Coogler had planned for this. He had drafts ready to go. He knew what the idea was. Kevin Feige knew what the idea was, but we're never going to know what that plan could have been. Ultimately, it caused a lot of thoughts online of, okay, does Chadwick Boseman get recast? Do they digitally CGI him into the movie? Many different options that you can take in this unfortunate scenario. You can shelve the movie completely.
Yeah,
there's the options are limitless on what to do, but it's always about what's the right thing to do in this scenario. And
spoiler alert, it's the first thing you said, but not in the way you would expect.
Yeah, this is more of a passing the mantle to someone within the current universe as well.
But then, okay, we'll get to that.
there's things around it. There's things around it. So yeah. From what we could have got, we now get this version of Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever. One that sees us introduced to some newer characters and given us this very thematic structure for a movie, basically. Where do you think, where should we start with this? There's so much into it. I don't even know what to start with.
It's such a densely packed movie. Even for 3 hours, they put the fucking kitchen sink into this, didn't they?
The whole kitchen sink is into this.
But not even in a wider MCU, like just in a Wakanda sense. They put everything in it and just like so much. Okay. Let's start with the initial...
We'll start with the intro to the movie, basically.
Because we liked the beginning, right? You and I both liked the beginning?
Yeah. 100%. I was very drawn in for the first act of this movie.
And it's like, it's because Wakanda is so cool and the cast is so good and it's really fucking that funeral scene is quite respectful.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think like
It's that's a big part I give to this movie is costume design. 10 out of 10.
yeah,
This movie has some of the best costume
yeah,
designs
it's
and looks,
beautiful.
and everything is an absolute flawless take.
And the world is just so believable. Like there's no big volume sets like on Thor: Love and Thunder. You can tell they're standing in front of a screen.
Yeah,
Whereas this, they really like flesh it out. The flesh out the sets. Even if they're using the volume, they really took care to
yeah,
put some of that budget in.
and that's it because
Yeah,
it looks so good.
especially costumes. Like holy
The
shit, man.
costumes are big thing. But yeah, okay. So the intro to the movie is obviously they go straight head on with how do we
Address it.
say
They need to address it. Yeah.
how do we say King T'Challa is dead or about to die?
Yes.
And that's by taking the real life scenario and incorporating in this movie. He's been diagnosed with an unknown illness.
Yeah, they don't say it.
Yeah, it's a hidden illness that no one was aware of. That's just happened too late, and no one can stop unless Shuri was given a bit of extra time to try and regenerate the heart-shaped herb. So obviously, this is the quickest and easiest way to address the elephant in the room, basically.
Yeah.
To this movie is to go, okay, we're not going to say he died in battle, he did this or that. It's just what's the easiest thing to do is just go, he was sick in real life. Okay, he's sick in the movie.
Yeah.
It's a bad illness. We won't dive into it.
No. Because if you put like a CGI Black Panther implying that it's Chadwick Boseman in that suit and show him get stabbed through the heart or something, that's just in really poor taste. So they couldn't do that. Like
100%.
So I think they did I think they did the best they could do. And then they didn't just dump it in the pre-credits. It actually becomes a theme throughout the movie. Like Shuri's motivation is she's so angry that T'Challa didn't tell her that he was battling this illness, so she couldn't save him.
Yeah.
And that comes into the heroicism of the Black Panther and all that shit.
Yeah. So obviously it very quickly happens that Black Panther is now dead. King T'Challa's no more, and then we see this beautiful ceremony and funeral, and then that sort of kicks off the theme of the movie now.
Yeah. And you got the Marvel Studios dead silent.
Marvel
Studios
Fuck,
logo.
wow. Yeah.
So the big Marvel Studios thing that plays before every Marvel movie is usually,
shows all the different characters.
And it's part of the soundtrack and stuff. Yeah. Like it's really iconic. But this one, it's dead silent in the cinema. You could hear a pin drop. Like
my God.
Everyone was nobody was even sniffling or like shuffling their food around.
Not one bit.
Dead silent and just like so respectful and showing just the charm of that man. Like fucking hell, he just had such a presence on screen.
Yeah,
and I thought that was a really beautiful tribute.
Absolutely was. It absolutely was. I didn't expect it. I didn't know that was happening.
I didn't know that either. Yeah,
I just saw it and I was just like, "Oh wow!"
I was like, "Shit!"
Oh wow! Yeah. It made me miss him so much.
Yeah.
It's just so hard. Oh god, yeah. But yeah. So this was the initial trajectory of the film and the themes that were to follow. We get our introduction to. Do we say the villains of the film? Because it's another big plot point to this film. So
yeah, it's in the trailer. So
yeah, we get introduced to the mutant, Namor, who is basically a fish man. He's a cooler version of fucking Aquaman, but he's got little wings on his ankles.
Yeah. Which aren't part of his boots. They're literally part of his biology. I didn't know that.
He was born with fucking wings on the ankles. Really cool. I like the character. I like the actor.
Yeah, he's much less fishy than he is in the comics. In the comics, he's much more of a merman and much fishier. But this one, he's just a bloke.
This one, he's just a bloke who's more culturally inclined in his motivations than anything that is power.
It's just protecting his people.
And that's another big factor in this movie. This movie is so well diverse. You couldn't even count how many white people in this film on two hands.
Yeah, it's pretty much Martin Freeman and Elaine Boozler, or whatever her fucking name is.
Julia Louis Dreyfus, don't ever get my babe's name wrong ever again. Yeah, it's just again great casting and good choosing
Yeah.
from Disney here and Marvel on this one, and to not drown it out and also not make it,
What?
tokeny, but
Okay,
also not
yeah.
making it very token like of just
Yeah.
having these, the
Yeah,
different
the
ethnicities in.
culture is just part of it. Like it's
Yeah,
the world. It's
I think they did really well with it. I think they did really well, and you can see that with all of with Namor's.
yeah. So
Uh,
Namor's like based on Aztec sort of Mayan
yeah,
inspired artwork and stuff.
yeah.
It's not quite clear. Like they're talking about him at one point, and they're like, "Oh, he's stronger than the Hulk," and then people are talking about him. They mention he's a god,
Yeah,
right? But
so
then it's
yeah.
not really. And then like his army, like the Avatar people, they like do some murdering and stuff, and they seem
Yeah,
like pretty apt. But then Namor flies in like Black Adam and just like trounces everyone, and it's like, okay, so why does he have the army? Why is he this big of a threat, but he's still getting his ass kicked? Like
yeah,
it's never quite clear how big of a threat he is. With Thanos, you know how scary he is because you just see it straight away,
yeah,
and
instantly,
you're
yeah.
like, holy shit, he's so strong. And like, I don't really care about like big, strong fights and like
Mm.
who can punch the best. I just want to know why Namor is such a threat.
Yeah, and it's definitely sort of, and I think his part of the story is what sort of plays around with the plot of this movie. Uh,
I think it's the weakest part of this movie, personally. Oh,
it's
second weakest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a factor because it's just the way that it sort of paces itself out and the way it's given to us. It's like we're introduced to him. Okay, he's living in this hidden city underwater.
Yeah.
No one knows about them. He's trying to keep that all a secret, protect his community that he's done for the last 500 odd years, whatever it's been.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the drive is that people are trying to find vibranium outside of Wakanda, and there's some in the water.
Yeah.
That's another part of the movie to take the plot with. But the fact is, his whole thing is they want to kill the person responsible for creating this vibranium hunting machine.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand as to why they need to kill them.
Yeah. Because the machine will expose where their civilization is. Not Atlantis. It's called Talcon.
Yeah, but
Talcon or something. Talconin.
Talakan.
Talakan. And yeah, but the machine has already found vibranium, right?
Yeah,
And Riri Williams, which is a fucking whole other plot we'll get into.
yeah, yeah.
She said she's made at least 3. So like they're gonna get found eventually. Like killing
Yeah,
Riri Williams, like the ball's already rolling, mate.
yeah.
And maybe they don't know that or whatever, but
Like it's a very like straight up like,
and the way
nah, man, you got to die
yeah,
now.
and the way they do the Marvel thing of like introducing a character by that character just telling the story to the main character. Like it's
Yeah,
just this dump. It's almost like 20-23 minutes of Namor's life story, and he's just talking to Shuri. Like, what's Shuri doing when he's telling this story? Just watching, I guess,
just
just
she's
looking
just
at him.
hanging out, just like,
Oh my
yeah,
god! Oh my god! So the theater is dead silent, right?
yeah,
Namor's telling his story. It's really like lavish, and the visuals are really stunning, and
yeah,
they've really built this civilization. And then it cuts to him being born, and because he's underwater, there's just this fake fetus floating in the water attached to the umbilical cord.
yeah,
And I like, when you see something you're just not ready to see at all. So I did
yeah, yeah.
this really chesty, ugly laugh because it just hit me out of nowhere, and everyone in the theater turned and looked at me, and I'm just like, there's a fucking like flying baby just like floating around because the underwater stuff looks horrible. It
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
so
It's
terrible.
not great. It's not great.
Not as bad as the end fight of Black Panther 1,
Yeah,
The CG definitely got better, but God, the underwater stuff, and then yeah, just the floating baby. I was howling
it
laughing, like a
was.
deep,
Yeah,
like from my diaphragm, just laughing like I couldn't believe it. Just sideswiped me. Anyway,
yeah. It was. It was. It was a thing.
Namor just tells that story, just point blank to Shuri, and it's still not very clear like how strong he is or what he's doing or why he
Yeah,
wants to kill Ironheart so bad.
yeah, and it's just very extreme from the get go, but then it also expands upon his character in then saying, "Oh, BT Dub, we're gonna destroy the whole surface world."
Yeah, that he just tosses that in.
That comes out of fucking nowhere, and you're like,
Yeah,
"So you're bad or what? Like,
yeah,
what's the go here?
because like
You're
what
just
you
gonna,
were, yeah, like what you were just saying, like when he's talking about killing the one girl, just Riri
yeah,
Williams, you're like, oh, that's a bit much. Like, do you have to?
yeah,
Can you just be like, oh no, don't do that?
yeah." Just be like, "Oi,
Yeah, and so you're
you
like,
live down
oh,
here. Just shut your
okay,
mouth."
yeah, it's pretty evil, but you sort of get it because he wants to protect the like his civilization is completely secret. Nobody knows about it, not even Wakanda.
Yeah,
And you're like, okay, I get it. You want to hide that. And then he's just like, and then Wakanda can join us and we'll just fucking eviscerate the earth. And just like, oh,
yeah.
hold on.
Yeah,
you
because they're
just
like, oh, everyone's going to come for Wakanda soon, and then eventually it's all going to break out.
just
So what
fucking
do? We get them first.
we team up and
We get them,
just absolutely Terminator to them. Just get rid of them all.
and then that's where the plot then just drives and goes. All right, it's now a war between Telekan and Wakanda,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay,
And that
I guess,
yeah, the
yeah,
pacing of that scene when he's trying to get the audience plus Shuri on side
mm.
and he takes her through Talakan.
Yeah,
And it's like all like sweeping swirling music and stuff. It's meant to be this gorgeous civilization, but it's just heaps murky and underwater, and
mm.
it just looks like a pile of like dark junk.
It just looks like a sea monkey jar.
Yeah, and you're just like, I don't really get it. And there's all these wistful kids like waving and doing cute hand signals and stuff, and it's just like, but I can't see. I can't
Yeah.
see where they live, and they're playing like basketball or whatever. It's just like I can't see anything.
Yeah, it's just hella weird, and it's just like
And
that's where the pacing of this movie just goes weird is on this story.
yeah, that's what I mean. I loved it up until that point, and then it just fucking drops,
Yeah,
drops into oh, that's not nice to look at or very interesting.
yeah, and it's like that's where it's like it's so backhanded because like it's looking like good to watch, but I'm like, but the story fucking
Yeah,
sucks.
because that yeah, and you got that scene in the UN with Angela Bassett. What's her name? Ramonda,
Yeah, Queen
Ramonda,
Ramonda. Yeah,
and she's in the UN, and she's like Angela Bassett's the best part of this movie. Like she is so fucking good.
she's amazing. She's
Yeah,
incredible.
and that speech in the UN is like you feel it in your chest. It's like, oh, she's so cool. And then she stands up, and again, like you were saying, the costume is incredible. And then
Brilliant.
the Dora Milaje comes in, and they look incredible.
Ah,
And then they line up like in front of the UN, and it's just like these powerful black women, like in
yeah.
traditional costuming and stuff. And you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm seeing this in a $250 million like widely released movie. Like,
Yeah.
imagine being a black kid seeing that,
Yeah,
a female
100%.
black kid. You're seeing that on the screen. I'm a
Yeah,
30-year-old white dude, and I was so overwhelmed by how cool that image is.
100%. 100%.
And it's so good. And then yeah, this fucking Namor story starts, and it's just like, oh, what?
Yeah, and it's like
Bored.
the Namor side of thing can be like could be great.
It could be great because he's great.
It's just like I loved his acting and everything about it. It's just the story that they gave it for this movie because
And the Avatar people are just the Squidward people from Thanos. It's just the same thing. Like
pretty much.
Yeah,
Pretty
just
much.
a weird looking sidekick.
And it's like this movie takes such a violent path between a war between two civilizations, ultimately by the end of it for no fucking goddamn reason.
And then they're just mates at the end anyway.
They just turn into mates at the end and they go, oh, hey, we can stop fighting now. It's fucking like we're sweet. It's all good. Like we nearly had to kill each other for it. And so many people lost their lives.
Namor's like, no, you're actually pretty strong and cool.
Yeah, and it's like, oh no, the Black Panther's fucking like, yeah, sick.
Not to mention Shuri gets stabbed all the way through her body,
All
which
the way
is
through
just
her body.
fine. Oh,
Yeah,
by the
which
way,
is
Shuri's Black Panther, but everybody knew that.
yeah, we all knew Shuri was taking the mantle of Black Panther.
And that here we are. We have reached the first biggest problem. Before I said the second biggest problem, this is
Yeah.
the first biggest problem.
Okay.
Letitia Wright is not a lead in
No.
like not even just in the way that Chadwick Boseman was, because very few people can lead a movie like that.
Yeah.
Letitia Wright just can't lead a movie. Like she's not. What's the word? I don't want to say interesting enough because that's too harsh for what I
No,
mean.
no. And
But she
like,
just doesn't have it.
and
She's
it's
not quite charming enough. She's not quite powerful enough.
and it's nothing on her because like she's great.
I don't think it's her fault. Yeah.
She's great. It's just she just you just don't get that factor from her where you're like, yes, you're the one.
You
Like,
never believe it. Yeah.
like full credit, she had to like carry a big part of this movie with this massive burden.
Oh, yeah. It dumped in her lap. Like,
You know, and she looks great in this movie. She has great costumes.
yeah.
She does exactly what she can do. But at the end of the day, you still look at her and go, I can't see you carrying like
You're not the queen of
so
Wakanda
much.
and you're not Black Panther. You just can't handle that. And
Yeah.
I think, and you've got Okoye, who was the obvious choice,
Mm.
but she has a nice little story too. Like her story, I really liked, like getting fired and then the redemption later
Yeah.
and stuff. But then you've got M'Baku, who's
Yeah, he's just bro. Winston Duke's in Baku is just one of the greatest things.
such a standout, isn't it?
God, I love the guy so much.
And he's in it. He's in it plenty, but he's still not in it enough.
No,
when
not
he's
enough.
on screen, he's just magnetic.
Not enough. The first time you see him, he walks in munching on a carrot or something, giving
Just
it to another
taking
guy.
the piss, yeah.
And the other guy asks him, he's got, oh, oh, oh. And then everything else. And he has this incredible scene when he fights Namor for the first time. And it goes into that hectic slow motion shot
Yeah,
of
that's
Namor
nice.
just like absolutely punching him through the chest. And it's
Yeah.
so slow. You just see his chest armor just cracks. And then he just gets launched. He's just like, "Ah!"
Because M'Baku has never really been bested aside from T'Challa.
No.
M'Baku doesn't really have to fight much because he's just so big and like just scares them away.
Yeah.
But he has it. Whatever it is that I'm talking about, Winston Duke has it.
Well, it's like everything about it because like
I think it's
every
the
little
charm.
moment he gets in this, like when Shuri becomes the Black Panther and she goes to see M'Baku and all the elders and that.
Yeah.
And he just looks and just goes, "There's only one way to test this: fucking arm wrestle."
Yeah. And he would do that. That makes sense. Like his character would do that.
100%.
And I love that like he's mellowed out a bit. Like he was so challenging to T'Challa all the time and like questioning him.
Yeah.
But now he sees Shuri straight away, beats him in an arm wrestle, and he's like, all right, you're the leader. What do you want me to do? Like,
Yeah.
I really like that. That's a good character arc.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. He goes through, he does what he needs to do. And we've all got it set there. But yeah, so obviously our biggest thing is the general plot of this movie between the war between Namor and Wakanda, fucking all that is just that's where this whole movie drops itself.
Yeah.
Obviously the lead up is great. That plot sucks. The ending is
And because there's so many plots, this makes our job easier as a podcast talking about the movie.
Yeah.
Because there's so many plots, you can just reach in like a crane game, pick up the Martin Freeman plot, take it out, right? Get rid of that. Go in again, pick out the Ironheart plot and drop it, right? Because what they're doing is setting up Thunderbolts and the Ironheart TV show.
Yes.
There's obviously Kevin Feige looked at the slate and went, oh, fuck. Like, I don't want to introduce them in their own property. Like, I don't want to spend an episode of Ironheart going, this is who Ironheart is. It's a bit like Spider-Man in Civil War.
Yeah.
It was a bit tacked on, but it was still like, oh my God, Spider-Man's in a Marvel movie. Whereas this is, who the fuck is Ironheart? Like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You don't have that same excitement. Maybe if you're a young black girl, you have that excitement and you know who Ironheart is. I don't fucking know. Is it Iron Man again? I
like
think.
it's basically it's another very, very smart person who can build a lot of really cool
Yeah.
things.
And even though her plot point is why Namor is grumpy,
Yeah.
it's still just like over 50 minutes of the movie is just about Ironheart. It's like I don't who
It's
you're gonna
like
see it in the
it
show. I
is
don't
about her,
fucking
but
care.
at the same time, it's not also about her because it's like
And
it's
she's in
shoved in your
jail for
face,
half of
but
it.
then it's
Yeah.
like then it's also in the background as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, where's this coming into it? And then it's just there.
Yeah.
But that's the introduction we get to Ironheart, and as we know, the Ironheart TV series is going to serve as a direct sequel to this movie.
Yeah.
So it can just jump straight on into it. We see, we get about 3 minutes of screen time of Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character Valentina Desfontaine, who we know is sort of putting together
The
a
Thunderbolts, yeah.
the Thunderbolts group, and could be I guess the eviler version of fucking what's his name, Nick
Ross.
Fury.
Oh, Nick Fury,
Nick
yeah.
Fury.
Yeah, she seems to be the antagonist to that.
Yeah, same sort of thing. And then yeah, Martin Freeman's character is just sort of just sprinkled in there.
Yeah. That plot,
Just
thankfully, like as you said, it's not very long. Like they're only in a couple of scenes.
It's literally it's a pinch of salt, just slowly peppered throughout the movie. And then we also get we got a nice little cameo there from Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, that was cool. I didn't expect that.
No, we got the cameo of Killmonger coming back again. Obviously, once Shuri takes the herb and has the experience in the ancestral plane,
the LSD trip,
hoping to see her family, but who does she see instead? She sees Killmonger.
Yeah,
who basically is just another point to go, hey, this movie's about how you handle grief differently, and in this way it's out of revenge. And
it's the Marvel thing of heroes, to be a hero and go on the hero's journey, you have to suffer, you have to lose, you have to be grieving and mourning and lose everything you have. Are you going to take all of that and honor your family and be good, or be Killmonger and just be angry and bitter and use your powers to reign and just take what you want?
Yeah,
you've seen it in every Marvel movie ever.
Yeah,
and Shuri dips her toe more into the revenge thing.
Yeah,
it's a little bit.
I'd say almost goes full foot.
Yeah,
and then
the way
at the very last second pulls out the foot and goes, well, you know what?
And when she's talking to M'Baku about her plan, it really is just like, no, I'm going to rip this cunt's head off. Like, I'm just going to kill him.
No, fuck this guy, because
the
plot
him,
has been like this so far.
Like, I saw the children. I don't care. I'm going to kill them all. And it's like, okay,
it's just like, no. You see, this is a war now. This is now a war for I don't know what reason anymore, but it's a war, and we're going to win this war.
War crimes don't count.
That's what it is.
And then the war takes place on a little submarine, and there's like a couple of them. There's a couple of from each side.
Yeah, it's just a cool little fucking CGI showcase at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But in hindsight and retrospect, it still means fuck all. Yeah. It's just like, hey, this movie needs a sort of big fight scene outside of Black Panther versus Namor.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this has to fill the gap. And it's like, okay, whales and seamen versus Wakanda on a boat.
Except the seamen are the blue people from Avatar.
Yeah.
I did like that the seamen's transport ships, instead of like spaceships and robots, they were just whales. That's heaps cool. I love that.
Bunch of fucking...
That's a nice little detail. You know what? Yeah. The initial invasion on Wakanda, when it's like flooding... It's like there's not a lot of music, and it sort of happens in real time.
Yeah,
that was a really cool scene.
It was sick. That's like all those scenes were all sick. The way that they were filmed,
it was so intense.
Sick, looked great. It's just in terms of a story, it sucked. but it was great to look at.
It's great to look at because you could tell it was real sets. They were just fucking tearing
Yeah,
apart.
they're just like bang, couple thousand liters of water.
They were
Flood that shit.
They were genuinely blowing things up.
Yeah.
Except not with fiery explosions. The grenades are like water, like
pressure, all water bombs,
water pressure explosions. That's cool.
So much easier to put that through fucking render than a bunch of fucking fireballs. Yeah. So that's the whole basis of this movie here, and the backbone to it. At the end of the day, it's all about grieving the loss of Chadwick Boseman, both as himself in real life and as T'Challa, the Black Panther.
Yeah.
Which is fine. You can have that. It's no problems until it is a problem for the MCU itself.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, you spent a lot of time on the first Black Panther, making it so diverse, so different, giving something really, really big to the Black community. And, you know, it got the recognition it wanted. It garnered a whole new section of fans for the MCU.
It won an Oscar.
It won an Oscar. It put Chadwick Boseman so high up there as an actor. And then you then sort of get this sequel and go, fuck, this has happened. And now we've got to try and do something similar to that, because the guy that we made to be this stature is now gone. So now we have to spend 2.5 hours grieving him because it sucked, and it does suck. But fuck, it's just so in your face throughout the whole movie that this is all it's about.
Yeah. And the person they got to take his place, quote unquote, she's not going to be in the next one, because we spoke about it years ago on the podcast. Letitia Wright gave Disney a very hard time with her beliefs. We won't go into, but they're not going to work with her again. Like, I don't see them giving her another $10 million to put on and she's too skinny for the Black Panther suit. It looks so weird.
It did look really weird because the helmet is huge.
Yeah, and I'm not saying everyone has to get MCU buff, but she's a very petite, tall woman.
Yeah.
And it just looks a little bit odd. And of course they can't buff up the suit, because then you're like, well, that's not Shuri.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have to make a really skinny,
she's a suit.
Yeah, it's a really skinny, tall Black Panther. It looks very strange.
Yeah, it's so weird. But
yeah, so they can't. Yeah, what you're saying is true. It's 3 hours of.
It's 3 hours of just learning how to grieve upon this loss, and it's fine to base a movie off that, but it's just sometimes it's just too much to take in. And when it's the MCU like this and so far into all these different phases, and you know, going into a sequel, really it's supposed to be setting up a big future, but you're just essentially singling this movie out as a dedication, which again is fine. I'm not trying to put that down and take that away from anybody. It's completely fine. But it's just a fact that you have to look at and go, okay, yes, but at the same time, we haven't had the best run of Marvel in the last 2 years.
No, and they're trying to. I don't want to say set up. They're trying to give us new villains by taking really iconic villains. The same thing happened in Love and Thunder. Taking really iconic, really powerful villains and going, oh, we only need them for one movie, so we need to tone it down heaps. Like Gore the God Butcher, his name is Gore the God Butcher, and he didn't butcher a single god. And then he just gets punched to death at the end.
Yeah.
Namor is this ancient Aztec Mayan god, and he just gets punched a bit at the end, and
he gets dried out.
Yeah. And he just concedes. They put him in a big toaster in the ship. And it's like a microwave. It's like
it literally was a microwave. It's always you can see the heating elements.
That got another good laugh out of me that confused the audience. I was like, this is so stupid, but kind of sick.
Yeah, I know. But look,
yeah, I think they wasted Okoye as well. Like, she could be a really great leader.
She's so sick.
Fucking badass. That fight on the bridge where she just fucking schools the avatars.
Every time she fights, it's just so great to look at it,
Yeah.
and all
And
the
she's
women in this film
funny.
that fight are so
She's so fucking funny.
she is so fun to listen
Give her
to.
more screen time, man.
She's
God. And we
great.
haven't even spoken about Lupita Nyong'o, who's
Yeah, come back as
gorgeous
Nakia
and
again.
stunning and
She comes back and just
saves
goes
the day.
saves the day basically, and then sort of sets up the future, with the big sort of. You freak out for a second there?
No, well, I was going to put my elbows on the table, but then I was like, it's going to make heaps of noise and shake the camera around. So I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm just going to hold it like this.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, so in the lead up to this movie, nobody spoiled the post credits, right? Nobody on Earth mentioned the post credits, and I was like, okay, that means one of two things. One is it's so good that everyone's like, no, just let everyone experience it. Yeah. Which is optimistic of me to think that was.
Of course.
Or two, it's so inconsequentially dull that it's not even fucking worth mentioning. And guess which one it was?
It's number 2.
But it conveniently recasts Chadwick Boseman without them really doing any work. So that's why I'm so confident Shuri will not be back, because at the end of the movie they say, well, here's the future. It's Lupita Nyong'o and this kid who will age up. We'll do a time jump.
Yeah, so
we'll show this kid that they've cut. It's T'Challa's son, and his name is also T'Challa.
Yeah, so
it's so boneheadedly stupid.
It's a mid-credit scene, not a post-credits. It's a mid-credit scene. Sorry. You don't get a post-credit scene in this movie. No, there's no post-credits.
Yeah, which is good because the movie goes for fucking 19 days. Anyway.
Fucking the minute I saw it, because I knew it was only a mid-credits, and as soon as that went off, I left, and everyone was just like, bro, he's never seen a Marvel movie before. I'm like, bro, when it's this long, you do your research and find out how many fucking scenes there are.
Absolutely.
This is literally just Shuri that's going back to Haiti with Nakia, and then she comes out and says, "Hey, this is my son Toussaint, and T'Challa is his dad, and I've been keeping him here as a secret." And T'Challa knew and prepped us for his death. And also Queen Ramonda met him as well, so it's all good.
Which is kind of fucking brutal if you're Shuri. It's just like, wow, they were keeping a lot from me. There was a lot of lies.
And sort of to keep the pressure off from being on the throne, because obviously he'd be the rightful heir to the throne after T'Challa. And then his name is also T'Challa.
Yeah.
So give it 20 years and you've got another Black Panther, everyone.
Yeah. But not even. You can do another Black Panther movie next week. Have that kid at the beginning and then go 30 years later and then just have whoever they're going to cast.
Yeah, you could.
That's very obviously the plan.
And the minute they do that, no one gives a fuck about Black Panther anymore.
No one gives a fuck, no. Because he has to be in Secret Wars. Like, T'Challa has to be in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So they've only got, when's that, 5 years? I don't know, whenever they announce it, but it's coming. It's at least on the horizon.
It's a few years down the track. I think it's only like 3 years down the track or something.
I don't think there'll be another Wakanda centric movie again.
Yeah. I mean, there's talks of a discussed potential third Black Panther film, but obviously that's going to be subject to how and what do you do in this situation.
And like this movie is making bank and critically people are loving it, so
it's going to do everything right. Everything it needs to do is going to be right. It's going to be a smash hit. It's going to make money. People are going to talk about it. It's everything it needs to be. But in terms of just in terms of the linear Marvel universe, I just think it just sits in its own area.
Yeah,
just there's no real. Goes, hey, I'm here as a good movie, and that's about it.
There's no real. There's a small mention of the snap regarding Lupita Nyong'o's character.
Very, very small.
But otherwise, the wider MCU doesn't get even a sniff.
Not much at all.
And
not much at all.
Yeah, if you're a screenwriter in LA and someone says, "Do you want to write Black Panther 3?" You'd be like, "No, no, I do not."
Yeah,
what the hell do you do?
Even hitting up Ryan Coogler, you'd be like, "Hey, Ryan."
Yeah.
Third one, he'd be like, "The second one was hard enough. All right, that shed years off my life.
Yeah,
I mean, to figure out that
this
mess.
would have been a nightmare to make.
Yeah, but look, we're not going to sit here and say that this is a terrible movie. This is
It's
not a
not.
terrible movie.
It's quite a good
Um,
movie.
it's a fantastic film.
Yeah.
It just has issues.
And
But
those things you could just cherry pick out. Like it would
yeah,
be so much better.
yeah. Like obviously
It's
we're going to
not.
talk about
Yeah.
those bads more than we will the good. But we've already said the costumes are a 10 out of 10. The score is a 10 out of 10. The overall look of the film
Yeah.
is fantastic.
The cast is
The
spectacular.
cast is amazing. Every single person that performs in this movie is amazing to
Yeah.
watch in this. They all
Fantastic.
do their characters so much justice. Everyone is portrayed perfectly. It's an incredible performance from every single person in
Yeah.
this movie. It's just the main thing, and it's what everyone's saying. It's your runtime and it's your plot.
Yeah.
That's what's dragging this movie away from being a perfect 10 out of 10 movie.
Yeah.
But this is still such a watchable movie, and I'll happily watch this movie again. No problems. I can watch it again.
Yeah. I didn't check my phone during
Nah,
this movie. You know, like
and that's big for you.
yeah, it's huge for me. Like I was in, but I was just like, even before thinking about what I was going to say on this show, I was like, oh, some of these issues are quite glaring.
Yeah.
No, never mind. Keep talking. I had another point, but it just completely fell out of my brain.
That's fine. Yeah. So look, there's so like this is such a great movie, and it's so worth going to see it. It is just it's heartbreaking knowing that this could have been Chadwick Boseman's next film. It would have been great to keep him going, because at the end of the day, you look at this film and you go, you do sit and think what could have been if Chadwick was still here and healthy today.
Yeah.
And where would he take the MCU with his Black Panther? And it honestly would be so much different to what we've got now. But unfortunately, it's not what's going to happen. But we just need to be happy we got that first Black Panther and the appearances we got in Civil War and everything else, Avengers and all that.
Yeah.
The performances we got from Chadwick, and we just have to cherish those memories and enjoy the world that he did give us originally, as well as Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler and that. And hopefully, maybe something else comes from Black Panther further down the line. But I think it'll be a decent amount of time before we hear anything further on the Black Panther and Wakanda side of things. Maybe Wakanda is a separate thing without Shuri or Black Panther. And we might get like Okoye, Nakia, and Baku even to
fuck that. I would love that.
That would be amazing. I would happily take that as like a spin-off to Black Panther.
Tales from Wakanda or something, and just
Tales of Wakanda, and
like have them doing like spy missions and shit. That'd be so
Baku
cool.
and Okoye just gone on a spy mission.
Oh, I want that. I want that right now.
I need that. But yeah, look, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It's a fantastic film. It has its issues, but it is what it is. Definitely go out to the cinemas and see this movie. Anything else you need to add on top, Jack? Is that all you've got?
That's kind of it. It coming like tonally, like the MCU thing we got before this was She-Hulk, and just could not be two different sides of the coin. Like, just She-Hulk is like so comic booky and hilarious and colorful, and then it goes to this horrible, grieving, lost, sad movie. It's like, oh geez, okay. Bit of whiplash there, but
that's the MCU for you. We've got so much of it. You can't get comfortable in one frame of mind. You got to. It's
the most unpredictably predictable thing in the world.
God damn it!
You never know what's going to happen.
We lap it up. We lap it up like a bunch of suckers because that's what we do.
I don't think I give a shit anymore, but I'm still going to watch them all and talk about them. But like, I'm nowhere near as invested as I once was.
Yeah,
I think No Way Home was the last time I was really like in the Marvel washing cycle.
I just think it was this phase, just sort of like this phase was just like the reset button for Marvel and being like, all right, we need to put stuff out, but it's not going to be our best stuff again yet. But we still need to put something out there
because they
set up that future.
Yeah, they hit the most stunning home run in the first 4 phases, like the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
Nobody has started better than that in history. And now Kevin Feige is like, fuck, I did too good of a job.
Yeah, he's like I smashed it out of the park, and then
Now what?
he came out with let's just so this is the phase 4 slate. So we're almost finished with this phase. But we had Morbius. We had Black Widow.
Still haven't seen Morbius, by the way.
What?
Yeah, I still haven't watched it. Maybe I will. Maybe that can be a
I
bonus.
need you to watch it because I fucking hated it, and I need you to I need to know what you fucking think. We got Venom 2. We got Shang-Chi, Eternals, Doctor Strange, Thor: Love and Thunder,
Spider-Man.
uh, Spider-Man, and then Black Panther. So we had some good in there. Obviously, Spider-Man is the pick of the bunch.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange was amazing.
Yep.
Outs-
You like Shang-Chi?
I enjoyed Shang-Chi, but I think on the broad spectrum, it wasn't
Yeah.
as critically taken
Yeah,
as
just
everything
so
else.
it's just so scattershot. Not even talking about quality, but just in coherency. Like it's just so scattered.
Yeah,
Like yeah, No Way Home is not the same as Shang-Chi, is not the same as Multiverse of Madness, is not the same as Wakanda Forever. Like, and I don't want them all to be the same. I want them to be unique movies, but I do want some underlying thread. And I think,
yeah,
yeah. And Loki was the most exciting part of that because it felt like something was happening. And then
yeah. I really enjoyed Loki as
I
well.
fucking love Loki. And then yeah, and then the things that followed were just kind of their own little insular stories, really.
Yeah, it was very very strange for
Just
what
a
came
weird
through with
phase,
it.
yeah.
It was a very it's just like it just was weird. Like there was new things in there, but like we didn't need Black Widow.
No.
Yeah, like I enjoyed Eternals, but people have already forgotten about what happened in that movie.
Yeah. And it was a flop, so they're not gonna come back.
Thor flopped out,
Yep.
and then like if we looked at the next phase, Ant-Man 3, Guardians 3, The Marvels, Captain America: New World Order, Thunderbolts, and Blade. There's some exciting things in there,
Yeah.
but it's also the
The,
end to a lot. Like Guardians 3 is going to be the last Guardians.
yep.
It's going to be the last we see of the Guardians.
Yep.
The Marvels being all the Marvel women.
Yeah. You would have to
that mean Captain Marvel and
yeah, and Monica Rambeau and Miss
Miss
Marvel.
Marvel, yeah.
And you would have to assume that Scott Ant-Man, what the fuck's his name? Scott Lang?
Scott Lang, yeah.
You would have to assume he's going to die in Quantumania, so
Something like that.
the girl from Freaky can take over because that's what they're doing. They're setting up
Yeah, all the young
younger,
guns.
yeah, so they can keep them contracted for 30 years.
Yeah. And then Captain America: New World Order will get Anthony Mackie to take his lead.
Yeah, but I still think Doctor Strange should be the leader, but I think Captain Marvel will be like of the overall thing. Or whatever Bruce Banner's doing, he'd be a good leader, but they also don't really know what to do with him.
Yeah, no, really.
Because
really no
She-Hulk, he's like, oh, I have a son too, and he's all hulky and weird looking.
Again, it's another kid to add to the bunch. Kid. So
yeah.
that's
I trust Kevin Feige, but the wheels are a bit wobbly at the moment.
I think you just got to have these moments. You can't put out tens forever.
No,
you got to have a break and just go fuck it. They're going to make money anyway. Who gives a
shit? Even the Infinity Saga had some stinkers, like Dark World. Like who's talking about Thor 2, you know?
Not a lot of people. But we'll lap them up. We'll take them as they come.
We'll watch them.
Yeah, guys, I think that's the episode. I think that's us done. Rambling about another great movie in the works. What do we have on the horizon? I was
just about to ask you the same thing. I have no idea.
What we have on the horizon. I know Glass Onion is very, very close to being out, if it's not already out.
Yeah.
I think it's already out.
I honestly, I know it's on Netflix. I honestly might go and see that at the cinema.
I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer for before this movie started tonight, and I was like, "Yeah, that's a cinema movie."
I think it'd be really fun in a cinema. Would be instead great of at home. So I might do that.
Yeah, I think we might put that next on the list.
I would
Um,
be happy to do that.
and then I'd probably say probably Avatar's then going to be the next big one.
Oh
I know,
God.
but that's a movie with a lot of talking points.
Yeah, it's very substantial.
It's something that came very, very early into our young adolescent lives when it first began with that first movie. So I just think it's been a long time coming. We got to,
Definitely significant, yeah.
yeah, it's huge. So we'll work it all out, but we'll let you guys know what happens with that in the meantime. Guys, thanks for joining us here on the show. If you want to find us anywhere, links will be down below in the description in our link tree, Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Listen on the audio platform, Spotify. Follow us there. Rate the show 5 stars. If you want any merch, the Redbubble store is also in that link. There's a few cool little designs that I've put up there just because I'm like, you know what? Why not? Why not just make some weird spoopy designs?
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything. Why
Costs
not?
nothing. I can do it for free and it prints like okay.
I mean, it costs you a
So
lot something because you have to buy them, but it doesn't
yeah,
cost us anything.
I think I've got one of the shirts here.
Oh my God, Adam has left the building, everyone. If you're not watching the YouTube, Adam is just, oh, his ass is out. Oh my God.
There it is. There you go.
Well, there you go.
That's one of the new designs there.
It looks like an architect's record cover.
It could very well be an architect's record cover. I'm not going to say yes or no, but that is one.
There you go.
So you can pick that one up and many others on the store. When I say many others, there's only 3 designs you can pick from. Guys, thanks for joining us here on the You Like That podcast. Until we see you all next time. My name is Adam. I've been one half You Like That podcast.
Even we don't know. My name is Jack. I am the other half of You Like That podcast.
We'll see you all next week, guys.
Bye.